Oh, boys.
What you drinking now?
Best Blonde. Or, no, it's not Best Blonde. Blonde Ale from Barrio.
I picked up another IPA.
Big Swell. That's
Can
what
you
she
read that?
said. Oh, yeah. Maui
Or is it
Brewing Company.
backwards?
No, it's frontwards.
Perfect.
Perfect. What about mine?
Straight.
Is mine frontwards or backwards?
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Straight out of the can, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a blonde. It'll be alright.
This one is 6.8% alcohol.
Jeez, that'll do. And it's a IPA or?
Yeah, it's an IPA.
Man.
They have one that's an OMG IPA. That one's 7.4.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, 7.4 is a little high. I've seen some pretty high IPAs, dude.
Yeah. But I saw this one. I was like, man, maybe I should get that one instead.
Like, you ever hit some barley wine? Or...
I don't think I ever have.
Barley wine's like a 10 change.
It's barley wine?
Yeah, they call it barley wine. It's just super concentrated. But
one of the things with making beer here on the island is it's expensive to import the hops. Or I guess ship the hops.
You ever they ever grow it or?
No, but Volcano Winery does some interesting stuff. They were growing like Jaboticabas up on their property. It's up by Volcano City, which is by the active volcano.
Sure.
And they had some decent wines come out of their winery or their vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as brewing is concerned, a lot of these companies don't really sustain themselves. They come and go. We've had quite a bit, like just come in. There's a brewery down by the community college, and it's a cool building. It has all the vats in there, and it's switched 3 times already in the last 15 years.
Jeez.
We did me and my buddy went and did a tour. We asked them for a tour, and they're like, okay, shoots. We were asking them all kinds of questions, and they were like, one of the biggest reasons that they can't make money is because of the hops. They can't, it's expensive to ship them over here. So like Kona Brewery, they actually make a lot of their beer
in Washington, right?
Yeah. So they have a brewery on the other side and a restaurant, but that's just not where their money comes from. Right. Yeah. Just for optics.
Yeah, because when people go to a brewery, they're like, "Oh, my beer's coming from right here, and I'm drinking it." Kind of, kind of.
There's a couple. Ola Brew is kind of cool too. They're doing something cool. Their restaurant, like you can go in and you can see down into the brewery. It's on like a 2-story. Right. Because we live on a volcano, everything kind of goes downhill or uphill depending on which way you're facing.
Yeah.
So, like you walk in at ground level to their restaurant, but by the time it gets 30 feet back, it's 30 feet down. Oh, so wow. They have windows up against the wall, and you can watch down into the brewery, watch them make his stuff. And they recently, maybe like 5 years ago, they started a restaurant on this side of the island, and they just bought this really cool building. It's right on a cliff. It used to be, it was a plantation home, basically.
Cool. Like a plantation house, or?
Yeah, and
wow.
That turned into like an event center at one point, and then the Ola Brewery bought it.
Oh, and sick!
They're kind of doing a lot of cool shit over there. But they just started a new beer with the tea tree. So they're growing the tea plant. Then they're like using the roots to extract whatever the ingredients they need to make their beers. Or I guess it's not really a beer. It's more of like a spirit, if anything.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, because like
they're selling them. Their pre-sales were $500 a bottle.
You know what's kind of interesting too? Is because you're on a volcano, right? You got a bunch of different kinds of sulfates and sulfides and whatever. I wonder if you could do something with some of those minerals to give you the same effect on the hops.
We did when I was in
Kind of
ag.
artificially, you know?
Yeah, we did a project where we tried to see if we could grow hops here, and it just wasn't. It wasn't sustainable to grow the
Yeah.
hops here. I don't know why. We just really don't have a good environment for that. It's either too
We,
wet or too hot.
I know what to do. So you know how they did with wheat? Because hops are like crazy because they're big vine and you have to grow them
Right.
up, and it's a weird thing, right? So what you do is you just like do a genetically modified hop where it just grows like, I don't know, short and like makes one bud or whatever, and then you can make a field that's easily harvestable.
That's an idea. Is anybody working on that? A
I don't
GMO? That'd
think
be a
so.
GMO product, yeah.
Well, let's ask our sponsor.
Let's ask our sponsor.
uh,
That's not a bad idea, but yeah, that would get rid of the whole
well, because it's
importing
cool.
issue.
It's cool to grow hops, right? But it's like, I mean, at some point, come on, what are you gonna do on Mars? You know, how are you gonna have your beer? You're gonna
That's
have
a
like
good
the
point, man. Well, I was
yeah.
just reading about the biosphere. You remember they did that project where they put the people like the seven
Yeah,
or I forget.
it's right down the street here. They got Biosphere and then Biosphere 2 actually.
That was in Sierra Vista?
Tucson.
No way. I did not know that.
Yeah, next. Oh well, I mean, if you're when you come end up coming by, you can go check it out. They have all the plants and whatever in there. It's pretty cool.
Is it all run down? Are they still using it
No,
or
it's active. It's like they got stuff in there, and you go in on tour and pay like some nominal fee. And
you can go inside? It's not like a
oh
sealed off
yeah.
project anymore?
Oh no,
Oh,
no,
that's
no.
dope.
You're all. It's open. It's kind of like a what's it called? Like what are they called? The gardens or whatever. Yeah,
Shit, I didn't
they
know it
call
was in
this
Arizona.
thing. Yeah.
That'd be a cool tour, yeah, for sure. But they were having all kinds of problems with trying to grow shit and make it with like in a environment like Mars. It was kind of hard to grow that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like you're really gonna have to I
Modify
don't
it
know. You're gonna have to
genetically.
have you're gonna have to have an Elon solution for sure. Like
Yeah, I
there's no
wonder what
way you're
that
gonna
solution would be because I don't think anybody's really working on that. I mean, the current technology is
yeah.
just to grow it where it grows well, and then
I
ship it to where
think
it needs to be.
well and also if you think about it, like one of the key things that let the British conquer the world was that they had good beer. And right, and how did they preserve that beer? Hops, right? And so now you're going out into different planets. What are you gonna need? You're gonna need some form of alcohol. So I mean, first things first. Rockets or how to brew in outer space.
I mean, I wonder how potatoes grow, like in the biosphere or
Think,
in a controlled environment, because that would be the easiest solution right there.
dude. Yeah, because then you got your vodka easy.
You just drink vodka.
So that'll do.
Yeah, that was one of the things that made America so successful was that
The potato
there
and
was the
Irish.
beer. No, no, that's the Irish. That also led to the Irish dying too, but no,
Dude, well,
they,
I
the water
know.
was kind of undrinkable, so they were drinking beer, and that was like
Yeah,
the way they got across the oceans was just drunk. That
dude.
probably helped with the long trip too.
Yeah, dude. You know what's interesting down in Peru is they do this thing, and I'm not really a fan of it too much, but like they'll take beer and then they'll mix like Coca Cola into it.
Interesting.
It's a thing, dude. Everybody does it.
Have you
But
tried that?
yeah, I'm not particularly a fan. But it'll be usually be like a black lager kind of beer, like a
What?
1554. It'll be like a 1554, and then you mix in like Coca Cola with it. And they have this other one called Trigo, which is kind of more to an amber, and then yeah, and then they have like a pilsner. But
The Pilsner, that's like that's kind of what the Miller and
Yeah.
Budweiser are, yeah.
Yeah, they're on the. It's like on the lighter, like hot weather kind of side of beer. Super light, so if like it's 150 degrees outside, you just be like, yeah, just drink that all day, right? But like
Are
your
they still
darker
using
beers,
hops for the Pilsners?
yeah, they're so like hops have different like genesis or whatever, right? And so like you get your Cascade hops and your Centennial hops and whatever else, and depending on how you hop, it's like your salt for your beer. So if you can oversalt your beer or undersalt your beer,
I see.
basically. So a lot of IPAs will kind of just, oh yeah, they want a lot of hops, but it's not a good beer. Like a
You
Dogfish
don't
Head.
like the
So,
IPA?
well, no. It's like an oversalted soup. It's like, no, I like soup. I just wanted, the chef to know what he's doing, right? So the like at a Dogfish Head 90-minute IPA, they're like properly, like, because there's dry hopping and then the hops that you put in the wort, and so each of them adds a little bit different. There's like different notes. So some notes you get more at the higher temperatures. You get like, I think, more like bitters and stuff extracted, and then if you dry hop, you get more of the florals. And so how you basically it's like a chef. You have to know what you're doing. You can't just be like amateur hour and just say, hey, dump a bag of hops in there. It's like, yeah.
What do they
So
call like a more flowery IPA versus a more like a more on the bitter
West
end?
Coast. West Coast
That's West
IPA is your
Coast.
flowery. Yeah, yeah. West Coast is kind of more like West Coast IPAs are like the good IPAs. They're not over hopped. They're not like your Northwest Pacific Northwest kind of ones are like just, well, they don't know what they're doing for
I actually
more than
prefer
one thing.
that. I actually prefer
you
that over hops flavor.
oh man.
When
No,
I
I
get
don't.
an IPA that's flowery, I really don't like it too much.
Oh,
I mean,
like your
they're still decent,
hibiscuses?
but what's that?
No. Like what's a highlight? Have you heard highlight?
No.
Highlight is a good beer. It's
Where's that
like
out of?
uh, I don't know where it's at. Highlight. JAILALI.
Oh yeah, this one's tropical citrus hops burst from this dry hopped IPA.
Yeah, so it depends on how you hop it. If you boil it in the wort, it's gonna take out more bitters. And so the thing too, right? They might not be hopping properly. So if you, I think, just you're thinking anyway. If you dry hop something, you'll probably be able to. You could use those dry hops, take those out, and then actually use them for like to boil in your wort for like a different beer. So like managing your waste properly, that's probably going to help them out a lot more, especially if they're trying to run a brewery. Like
Would you get a Would you get a lighter a lower alcohol percentage using the leftover hops, or is it the
no,
same?
it doesn't, because it doesn't have any sugars in it and stuff. It just affects it's like a flavoring.
It's a
So
flavoring.
yeah, so your beer percentage that comes from your wheat, or like your grains. So if you're using like your barleys or whatever, your or your malts and stuff like that, so that's going to change your
Alcohol content.
malt will change your flavor too a little bit, because like you could have like your malts kind of like toasted, which gives you like that nice like coffee taste and stuff like that. And yeah, so there's all sorts of, but like the grains are where the sugars get come out of, starches and stuff like that. But like hops, it's like I don't think they have doesn't have any effect on the alcohol.
That's just the flavor. The My buddy and I we bought a beer kit one time and made our own beer, and it came out pretty decent. We used to make wine out of these. Uh, it wasn't berries, but it was kind of like looked like a little raspberry,
Yeah.
and that shit came out really good. We just made them in 5-gallon buckets, let them sit for like 3 months, turned them every couple weeks, but we really couldn't let them sit too long because we wanted to drink them already.
Oh yeah. Well, no. You know what's a good one is mead. You just make it out of like a honey
I was
wine.
going to ask you about that. You made that before,
Oh,
right?
it does good. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that'll be ready like a couple weeks to a month. Like you can take it out, but it's better if you let it sit like
Sit right.
yeah, like some of the stuff I lost and forgot is like let it sit like a year, 6 months. Well, it's like I've had some of them that were just like champagne, dude. Yeah, like just have these bottles of champagne and just pour 'em. Yeah, pretty good.
Man,
Cause you
I go ahead.
Oh no, it's the same yeast. So you have your grains. That's good, or whatever you're taking your sugar out of. Then your hops, your flavoring, or like say if you're adding in fruits and stuff like that, that'll change. And then your yeast will also. So if you use a bread yeast, that's going to give you this like bready flavor. But if you use the different kinds of yeast, they'll put different off flavors into your beer, and also affect the alcohol content. Some beers are more robust, or some yeasts are more robust, so they'll survive longer. So a champagne yeast will go up to like 15% or something like that. So that's where you can modify both your flavor and your alcohol content.
Oh, that's some strong stuff.
Yeah.
How did yours come out?
Oh, dude, it was good. It was like
Like alcohol wise, I mean.
I think it was up at like 11 or 12%, I think.
Oh wow.
But I mean, and then if you go too far, then you start to die and they start to decompose ish, and so they start to put in some off flavors. So you kind of want to watch it, make sure your yeast are still semi active, and so it's just like cooking. It takes a little bit to get the hang of, but it's pretty fun. And then brewing temperature is important too. Like if I brew cold, uh, there's less like kind of off flavors than if I brew hot, because then everything can kind of there's not there's not really a lot of competition when there's a lot of heat, because that's what yeast and bacteria and everything feed off of. But if I brew cold, it's easier for the yeast to focus on brewing instead of worrying about attacking a bacteria or whatever they need to do. So I like brewing cold than rather than hot.
So are you drinking the bacteria too when you're drinking that?
So
Or
there
is there a
shouldn't
period that
be.
they die?
Yeah. So if and that's in putting in the yeast into the. So you have to. So there's this thing called over pitching yeast, which is like you put too much in and it boils over and whatever, which isn't too bad, particularly than under pitching. So under pitching means like you didn't put enough in there, so it didn't grow fast enough in order to like kill all the bacteria, because there's only so much sugar available, right? So if I put in a lot of yeast, then it can consume that. It kind of like like animal kingdom survival of the fittest kind of thing, right? So it's able to kind of take over that whole domain, and then that's what you want. If and then if you don't sanitize good enough or something like that, it's a little bit more lenient, because you've put enough in there that like it can kind of sort of kill everything. It's best to sanitize though, but if you didn't, it gives you. But if you're not pitching enough, so say if like you wanted to save a little bit of money, because yeast is the most expensive part of your brew. So if you didn't want to save a little money and like not pitch enough yeast, then you might end up having to throw out the whole brew. So it's kind of it's a science for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. I there's this road that I drive home on. It's basically the highway, but I've driven that thing hundreds of times. And one day there was like a clearing that I noticed that I hadn't seen before. I guess they went in and did
Yeah.
cleared some trees or whatever. And and then I seen this building back there. So I was like, what the fuck is that? So I went on Google Maps. I looked in that location and I found a meadery off the side of the road. Bro, that thing
Oh,
was there the whole time.
dude,
Never even knew it was
meaderies.
there.
Okay, so if you brew at mead, like you're a special kind of person. So a meadery is like somebody who's like it's like a monk. They devoted their whole life to brewing, basically. As a meader, it's like yeah, that's kind of like the top tier for me, because beer is kind of easy. Mead is like it's a little bit fickle, and then it's just a happy drink. So it's like it's like a drunk high because there's all that sugar in there.
Oh, right,
So
right.
so you're kind of like when you're drinking, you're getting drunk and you can feel it, but it's kind of like a high drunk. There's not a because hops is a downer, so hops is gonna make you a little feel more like whatever, you know. But yeah, but that sugar and that yeah,
How's the
it's
hangover on the
oh dude,
sugar?
0% though, man. It's good.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah,
Well, I haven't tried
that's
out
a
the
clean
meter
drink.
yet, but I came home a couple of days ago and I
Yeah.
noticed that they have. Oh, actually, I went a different way to get to where I was going the other day. And when I came back, I seen that they have a sign on the road now, which they
Oh,
never did
cool.
before.
Well, maybe they're just starting out trying to get their
I
stuff in
mean, they
order.
were there
Because
for a few years,
yeah,
but I guess they didn't have a lot of business, so they finally
like
cleared the area so
they're
people
like,
could
all
see
right, chop
it.
down all the trees. Nobody knows we're here.
Yeah, and
Hey,
then
so here's the other thing with mead is if you take like a white wine and you mix a bunch of honey in it, some people do that, and that is a bad mead. That's not a real mead. And
all
so you
right.
have to be careful. Like that's one way to make mead is just like fake it, right? Just put some sugar in some wine, which is you can totally tell, right? But like I don't know how to explain mead. Mead's kind of yeah, it's not the alcohol content. It's not even the sugar. It's like the things that have like almost the magic that happens when you're making mead. That's kind of what you feel. So if you feel like a bunch of sugar and some nasty cheap wine, then yeah, that's it's not as authentic, I guess. So yeah, it is kind of a hard drink to find a good brew out of. But I guess if you talk to them enough and kind of do the samples and say like, oh yeah, how do you make it, and let me see your process. But um, there is a lot of I guess fox mead for sure.
I guess I should have thought about looking around for a meadery because we have a lot of honeybees on the island, and
Oh,
that
cool.
meadery is actually located by um, a MacNut farm. So it's called the
Ah,
company that operates in there is called Mauna Loa MacNuts,
yeah.
and they're I had a thing over here, but they have huge acres and acres of MacNut trees, and there's just beehives everywhere to be able to
Oh, sick.
pollinate. So it makes sense that the meadery would be over there. The
Oh yeah, maybe
free
they're just
honey and
using the waste from the Macna place, and then guy just wants a good drink and once
that's
in a
another
while.
thing too. It's probably
Um,
MacNut honey.
right. The other thing too that you'll have with meat is they'll use wild yeast strains. So you don't necessarily need to go and buy yeast. You can make your own wild strains, which is like I did it one time, and it's kind of it's wild, man. So like the way you do it, it's like you'll take like sugar water and you put like a pitted cheesecloth on the top, and you basically there's yeast in the air, right? So you let all that kind of come in, and then the yeast in the air is what kind of starts populating. You might get even some like fermenting bacteria and stuff in there, so you might like get kind of a bit of a trip off of when you pitch this stuff. But uh, dude, that is like some of the strongest brew I've ever tasted. Like I let that sit 3 days, and it was like it's probably like at 15%. I don't even know what it was. I just smelled it and I was like,
So you made the alcoholic drink just out of a
oh
cup
yeah.
of water,
No,
sugar,
yeah, you
and
just put sugar and water together and you mix it up and then you just let it sit and the air will have all the necessary fermenting things in it. And then if
what the
you
fuck?
I know it's
Wait a
super
minute.
cool. Yeah.
What?
And then all you gotta do is and then I don't know if like so you can refine that, right? So say you don't only want the yeast and stuff like that. You can refine that through your brew because that as soon as the alcohol content gets to a certain point, like all your bacterias and your the yeast and stuff like that die anyway. So then out of your bottoms you can recover some live yeast cells and like cultivate those out. So they're like you can refine what you have out of there. Doesn't you don't necessarily have to have like all the extra bacterias and whatever that's in there inside there, but
So yeast isn't grown off of a plant. It's a bacteria that's.
No, yeah, it's just like it's a little microorganism that just exists in nature.
What?
Like
How does?
on your
What
body,
is the?
you'll have yeast too.
Right. So, oh shit. Wait. So
Yeah,
when you buy the little yeast packets and it has the
it's in
little.
a lab. It's like in the lab they grow it up, and
What is
so
the
like
dried? What is the dried bubbles? I mean, like dots. What are those then?
oh, they're just like so. Once it dries up, it just makes like its own little like kind of capsule and just goes dormant. Kind of like you know how like anthrax will go dormant after a certain. So like a yeast is kind of similar to it'll like encapsulate itself and just kind of wait. And then then you have to activate your yeast, right? And so activating the yeast is like okay, you add moisture into it, and then it's hungry. So there's usually like sugar inside those packets too. So it'll like you put it in water and heat it up and kind of get it like awake first before you pitch it into like your full brew. Um, and that's what you get like a better brew out of is if you activate your yeast. If you just pitch it, then it takes a while, and then it kind of it's not as optimal if you just pitch it straight into your wort. And then if your wort's too hot, right, like it's like at 100 degrees or something crazy, then the yeast can kind of get shocked too because it's just an organism, right? So it's like, whoa, this is outside my range, and then it will act like you underpitched, right? So if it's too cold, then it'll be kind of slower to react. So it's best to kind of get your wort at the wort's like the sugar solution that you've extracted. You want your wort at like that optimal range, and then you pitch it, and then make sure it's activated by that time. Mix it in some hot water and let it sit for a little bit to kind of get acclimated. But one of the interesting things too about yeast is that if you say I brew in my house, right, it'll adapt to brewing in my house. So, like, if you have different yeast, like you brew different places, it's kind of like the same thing with like making like a sourdough. Like they kind of adapt to where they're at, right? And so you can kind of get a optimal yeast for wherever you're brewing. So say they go to Mars, right? They'll start brewing on Mars. They'll adapt a strain that's optimized to brewing on Mars.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you can get different flavors from two different locations.
Yeah, yeah. Depending on like, say, I use a yeast that's more like, I think lager. Lagers are more colder, so you like 50 degrees or something like that. So if I use a lager yeast, and then I brew it hot, like Hawaii outside, I don't even care, then then it's gonna change the flavors, right? Because it was like it was developed cold, and then you're bringing it out, so there might be off flavors that come about because it's kind of growing in a different environment. But yeah, you can experiment like that where you're changing conditions and seeing what happens.
One question, quick question. You don't have to
All right.
answer.
No, it's all right.
Why the fuck aren't you brewing beer then?
Oh, well, I was. I just stopped for a bit, but I should probably start it up again. But it's like I don't know, what is it, $50 for a 5 gallon bucket last time I checked. So or
Of the
whatever
yeast
that.
or of the hops?
Oh no, so like if you're brewing like 5 gallons of beer or whatever, I was brewing mead. That was about so it was like $25 for so 50. Yeah, about 50 bucks for 5 gallons of mead, something like that.
To make it?
Yeah,
That's the cost to make them.
yeah, and then they'll probably charge you what, $20 for a bottle, so they're making pretty good. Yeah.
What is the bee situation like down there in southern Arizona?
Oh, we got bees for days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Are they? So you've had mesquite honey then?
yeah.
That's my favorite honey.
Oh, is it?
We have
I
a
could I,
it's called Kiavi tree here.
I could send you out some, man.
No, we get, but you know what? It's $500 for a 5 gallon bucket. So we did a baby shower for our daughter-in-law and son, and
Oh,
one of the things we did was like kind of like a farmer's market. We made this
yeah,
cool farmer's market theme, and one of her friends does honey, and she gave us about 2.5 gallons of honey, and we only used like, and that was okay. So she gave us 2.5 gallons in vacuum sealed bags,
Sure.
and then a bunch of pre-jarred ones.
Wow.
So uh, we wound up using that honey for our tea, and that was it, man. We couldn't do any other honey after that.
Oh, dude. No,
So
mesquite
we
honey's straight.
so then
What's
we
it?
went to buy. We went to buy. We were like, okay, let's buy a 5 gallon bucket then.
Oh
And
no.
she's like, oh, that'll be $500. We're like, oh shit.
Where's my
We gotta
freebie?
sell a couple organs on Fast Kind. As soon as I
No,
sell my
yeah,
liver,
honey's expensive, dude. And then, but Uncle John makes all his honey.
I have
He
a
probably get it
beehive. I
all
got
for him.
into it, but I kind of wasn't
They're
taking care of it, so
they're
my
hard, dude.
bees kind of
Oh,
disappeared.
yeah, they're hard. You have to. So with bees, you got to watch them, because they'll start to make broods and like
Right,
and stuff
right.
like that, and then they'll fly away. And, dude, I probably put like 15 hives into Arizona. I don't even know where they're at, dude. But you know what I mean. But like, it's not like your bees aren't alive. They just said, screw this, and they just went off to a better spot. But the other thing you got, like, well, at least here, so you get these little moths that lay their eggs in there, and then they have worms, and the worms go underneath the comb, and so you're not really paying attention. But like, if you're like watching your bees every day, you'll like notice that they're not buzzing a certain way or whatever. I don't know. I'm not that high level of a beekeeper,
Right, right, right.
but like when you get to that point where you're that good, or you'll have some like just super aggressive bees, like killer bees, or had these like Czechoslovakian bees that were like die motherland, like full on. They like attack you just for like looking at them, you know. But like I had these Italian bees, and it was just like, we'll take the vacation. Hey, it's okay.
I think
And
I had
so,
Italian bees.
oh,
I
dude,
had
those
Hawaiian bees
Italians are
though. They were
so
good.
bad. Dude,
I could
Hawaiian's
weed eat
good.
around them. They were good, but they wound up swarming. I
That's
quit
funny.
pulling off the, like they make the new queens, and you kind of
Right.
peel them off and kill it.
Yeah.
But I just got to the point where I was kind of busy and didn't watch them
Yeah.
for a week, and went to 2 weeks and 3 weeks and went to 6 weeks,
And
and
then where are my bees?
they lasted quite a while. I just left them alone, and but
Yeah.
a couple of days ago I seen that they finally swarmed, and that
Yeah.
was it. But that's another thing too, is like in the city here we don't have a lot of trees for them to go to.
Yeah.
And here on the property, I do a lot of IPM.
Yeah.
So I think that conflicts with the bees, where if you have pest management, that kind of, that's, and it's so close to where the hive is. I have a greenhouse kind of on
Oh
the other
yeah, they
side.
hate that. Yeah. But if you want to catch a hive, at least my grandma told me about this one. Is what they do in like the old days. So they like March, April, or whatever, when the hives start to swarm. Uh, they'd the hive would be flying over, and then they'd throw a white sheet out in the middle of the field and start banging on their pots and pans.
Oh
And for
shit.
some reason, I don't know why, like vibrations or something like that, that swarm would just go straight down onto that white sheet. It's like,
Interesting.
yeah, crazy ancient knowledge that works for some reason. I haven't tried it
That's
yet, but
that's what actually got us into the bees to begin with. Is we walked
uh,
outside one day and there was a swarm on our tree. It was massive swarm. So I made like a cardboard box. I tried to get them to go in it, and we went and connected with this lady and got all kinds of the boxes and the honeycomb and
yeah,
all that. And by the time we got everything set up and back, the swarm had
they're like,
disappeared.
whatever.
So
I
we
think,
painted the box and set it up, and then I bought a colony
yeah.
and like wound up, put them in the box, and it lasted a while. It was almost a year now I had
Oh
them.
yeah,
But
that's
I
cool.
mean, I was just too busy to check them like once a
Yeah,
week is really
it's fun though, because like
it was fun.
you're
I'm
kind
gonna
of
get
doing
another colony.
a service for the surrounding area, and I mean they last a little bit of time, and then you're like, hey, I got bees. Like I used to take the honey out of them, And then, but I noticed at least for the first year or two, it's just leave them alone kind of thing. Because, they're stressed and they're trying to figure out their life and things like that. But, yeah, I don't know if I'd. I've tried it both ways. I've taken honey from them and I've not, and they've all gone. So I don't know if it's that or not, but you just have to be careful, I guess, when it gets closer to winter that you leave them enough. Otherwise, they'll freak out and take off.
I think my main challenge with the bees here in town is just there's not enough area for them to get pollen from. And I mean, there's a couple trees like in the forest in the back, but I mean, it's not near enough what the bees need.
Yeah.
But I want to try it again, clean up the hive and maybe try in a different spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna check out that meadery pretty soon. I discovered it like 6 months ago. I just haven't had time to get down there and try the mead.
Wow. Yeah, dude, we already scored a goal in the World Cup just now. 3 minutes, dude. Turkey must be.
That's still going on, the World Cup?
Yeah, dude. Like, well, one of the things is like we haven't done really soccer yet. And then we just like a couple years ago we're like, oh yeah, I think we can do that. And then, dude, now we're moving up pretty quick into it. These guys have been doing soccer for generations, right? USA
Football.
just walks. Yeah, USA just walks in and like, all right, now we got your sport too. So, what do you want?
I was talking to Mike the other day, and I couldn't get into the. Oh, was that on our conversation? I don't remember. But he was saying like they have like there's no commercials. You watch the game, it's no commercials the whole game.
It's straight up. Well,
I was like,
now they had it in the United States. They're like, wait a minute. So they have these things called water breaks, hydration breaks. So Fox can do a couple commercials to make a few dollars because they only do like their advertising in their arena, basically. And so it's 90 minutes, no breaks. If they like pause the game for any reason, or like somebody takes too long to get off the field, they'll like count up all those minutes. So there's basically 90 minutes of playtime, more or less. And so there's like at the half there'd be like 45 minutes plus 5 or whatever the time was, right? And then at the 90th minute they'll add like 8 minutes or whatever it is to basically account for that. So there's like, and you're not supposed to stop. So you're just basically it's a full like running. Everybody's running for 90 minutes. So the endurance levels are a little bit like more amped because like if you ever play soccer, you're like, holy shit, dude. Like after your first sprint, you're like,
I played football. That was enough.
Oh, dude. Well, football is kind of
cool. And that's not even straight running.
No, I know, but like football is a little bit cooler because it's like, okay, you go rush, okay, all right, stop, reset. Da, 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 da. This is like run this way, run this way, run this way, run this way, and it's full like 100-yard pitch too, right? So you're just running back and forth, and having to like sprint up like really fast. So it's a cool sport.
And then nothing happens for the entire 90 minutes, and then it's like 1-0. So one goal in the whole 90 minutes.
Well, here's
that's pretty nuts, man. You just watching people run for nothing, really. There's no excitement.
Yeah. Dude, what dude, and what's crazy too is like sometimes it's like that, but then also you'll see the goalie and the ball will go over here and he dives over here. And you're like, what the fuck they pay this guy for, dude? He's a one job to block the ball and then he like dives the other way. I think I would wait till the guy kicked the ball and then dive for it, So, I don't know. Sometimes I think they just throw the match. It's like WWE or whatever, but
right to get some excitement going on.
Yeah, well, dude, and then you watch these pussies. They'll be like somebody will like literally just touch them and then they fall on the floor and they go, oh,
LeBron James,
dude, straight, dude. Like the flop is real, dude. Like Yeah, but sometimes, and it's crazy too, because sometimes like if it's to their advantage, they'll just brush it off like a normal dude.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
for
sometimes
sure.
if it's to their
Fucking
advantage not
pussies.
to, they'll just fall and they'll just like pretend like their arm's broken, and then they get the foul, and then they'll stand up and whatever.
They
So
don't do replays in soccer,
no, they'll do the replays. So like
or not
oh, you
replay,
mean
but like
uh
what the fuck is that called when they
oh, like
a review?
oh, the review of the play. Um, they have this new thing. I think they call it VAR. VAR is a it's like where the computer does it. So if the ref doesn't catch it, the VAR can catch it. So there's like an offside. So the striker can't be behind the defenders when the ball's kicked, I guess. And so if he is, then you have to reset the play. It's like a foul. And then I think, and then basically, if you kick the ball out of bounds, then the other team gets it. And then what else? There's like free kicks, and then if you foul somebody inside the box and it kind of stops a goal, then they get a free kick at the goal. So that's where the guy dives to the other side. Ball goes this
Oh
way, and the
right,
guy goes that way.
the ball goes this way, the guy goes this way.
It's like, oh, I got it. Not really, dude. So yeah, it's pretty wild. But
Wow, so they're using AI in the soccer games matches.
yeah, no, it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat.
Uh, they could have used that in the UFC fights
Oh, dude,
in DC with those elbows to the back
that
of the
would be
head.
yeah.
Yeah, I never did get into soccer, man. I don't care if there's no commercials or not. I couldn't really get into it. I've
It's
watched a
not.
couple of matches, but
Yeah.
it just was not. I mean, I couldn't get into it. I'd rather watch baseball, to be honest with you.
You ever look at rugby? Or
I know I watched a couple of rugby matches,
I think
but we
rugby.
don't really have any. I mean, I'm not really into
No,
sports too much, so
yeah, we don't. Ian, I don't think America does rugby too much either. But I think rugby's kind of, so rugby has the combination, like it's full go. There's no stopping, right? And then it's like full contact, no pads, kind of too, right? So
but
I
that's
think,
fun. The rugby matches were fun. I mean, there's a
oh
lot
yeah,
of action, and with soccer, I mean, that is cool that they can move the ball around with their foot, but I mean, the balls travel so far in one direction, then everybody runs to it. Then they do some tricks. It goes so far in the other direction, everybody runs to it. There's no like hockey is. I like hockey better than I
oh
like soccer.
hockey, oh dude,
I mean, those guys will
hockey,
bang each other up and
dude.
just.
I like, dude. When Australia played the United States the other day, it was the Australia was trying to start a fight. The U.S. is like, oh, we're playing soccer. It's more civilized, you know. But dude, if that was our hockey team, fuck that, dude. Dude, they
Yeah,
were,
those are fun matches to
yeah,
watch. The hockey games.
yeah. I wish the U.S. would have pushed back against Australia a little bit. I mean, they wanted to get punched, so it's like, all right, we could beat you with one guy down. Fuck yeah. uh,
So they do
uh,
they do fights in soccer, or that's just like the.
no, they're
Uh,
too much of a pussy to fight in soccer. They go, rough.
I guess any game with the flop is gonna be
It's so bad,
too
dude.
pussy. I
It's
mean, you don't see people
so
flopping
bad.
in hockey.
No, but
They'll lose teeth.
people. Oh, dude, and with hockey, of course, like you got your lower leagues. That's where all the cool fights happen. Like your upper NHL leagues, it's kind of less so. I mean, unless you're up in Canada, probably they let them do it. But uh, yeah, it's like yeah, the lower league fights
The
are the
check is
best.
part of the game, actually, right?
Oh, dude, like yeah, you lose a couple of teeth, and you're like, oh yeah, that was legal. That's cool. Keep
Let's keep going.
let's keep going. Fair
No hard
point. I should have
feelings.
washed myself, you know. Uh, but
You fuckers.
dude, that would be cool if they had like I mean, do they have a World Cup for hockey? I mean, they got the Stanley Cup, but is that like
I don't
strict?
think there is a World Cup for
I don't
hockey.
think they have it the same way that they just have the NHL leagues. But dude, that would be so dope. You know,
But there's
see the
not every
Jamaican
country
hockey team.
has hockey though, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, We're playing
So
soccer. We don't have soccer either, right?
we do have a
Dude,
soccer team, don't we?
well, yeah, but we just started it just to be cool.
Right,
But
but other countries they don't have, like UK doesn't have.
yo,
Do they have a hockey league?
no, but straight up, think of it like the Saudi Arabian Hockey League
Oh shit! In the
versus
desert.
in the desert.
Bro,
It'll be
that'd be
like,
sick, actually. And then with their the way they dress, they would just have like
yeah,
their skirts on or whatever,
I
and
know,
their
right?
what is their dress called? Their those
Oh, fuck, I don't
sheets that they
know.
wear.
Oh shit,
I mean, they still
is
have
there?
pants underneath, but
Yeah,
that
dude,
would
but
be fun, man.
yo,
They should do that.
even if they didn't do the whole skirts thing, but that they did the hat with the
Oh,
flowing, oh shit, yeah, I could
that
see
could
it.
double as the helmet. Actually, that thing is thick.
Yeah, I mean, they got UFC already. I mean, if we got them hockey league, dude, these guys would be all over it, man. Get some Canucks over there. Fuck yeah, it's like
I
that.
wonder if
That's a good
anybody's thought
Canadian
of that. Like,
export.
let's make a ice rink here in the middle of the desert.
No, they have it. I think in Qatar they have the same thing, like Abu Dhabi, straight up. Uh, no, but in they have indoor skiing. I think over there too. Like you can actually go down the slopes inside a mall inside Abu Dhabi. It's nuts, dude.
That must be a massive mall to have
I
some
kind
slopes
of
in
want to.
there.
I kind of want to go over there just to see that because they're just a full like tourist distraction over there. They're like,
Johnny's
we have money.
sister used to live in Abu Dhabi.
Oh yeah, Christine. Yeah,
Christina.
yeah. She was over there for a bit. She always said, "Hey, yeah, come on over." I'm like,
You're right.
I'm busy, and then like then she's like, "All right, I'm moving back." What the fuck? I'm ready to go over. uh, no, and everybody has like Lambos and all sorts of stuff. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, those guys are on a whole different level of money
Oh
over
yeah,
there.
yeah. I knew some Qataris in school, and like the way it is like out of 4 million people, there's like 1 million that are actually citizens. And so, but then the other 3 million, it's like service sector. So you basically have like, and then the 1 million citizens, like your standard, I guess, welfare check every month. You don't want to work or nothing is like or not every month, but like yearly is probably like 150 grand. And so they'll pay for you to go to school. If you want to come back and just be a bum, they'll just give you 150 grand a year.
Shit.
Yeah.
So 3 million are in the service industry.
Yeah, so they got like people from like India and like kind of it's like a bit of a more on the slave class kind of level. They're not
Hmm.
treated well at all, right? But for the 1 million people that the citizens that live there, they're just cush. Yeah.
That's so their population is only 1 million.
No, they have 4 million people living there, but
No,
like
but their
citizens, yeah,
culture population or their
yeah.
citizens.
Yeah, it's like about 1 million, or at least it was back when I was in school.
And these other 3 million, they are
They're kind
they're
of
citizens
imported.
too, or they're like green visa kind.
Nah, not yeah. It's not like America. They don't just give citizenship out. So it's like they'll be like Pakistanis or or like from India. I don't know, dude. But yeah. So just like all these other places, and then they import them, and then I think they'll. I don't know if it's them or Saudi Arabia, but they'll like take their passport and kind of keep them there for 5 or 10 years, and then at some point they finally let them go. But
I
yeah,
mean, we kind of do similar thing. Like our imports are generally in the service industry. You have the maids
yeah, sure. Oh, like yeah, lawn care, whatever.
and then daycare.
Oh, dude, oh
The
fucking
Somalis at
daycare, dude.
daycare.
Have you, oh, dude? Have you seen daycares, dude? Holy crap! I would. I don't think I'd put my kid in a daycare. Like if you look at those things, man.
Yeah, we had our grandkids for a couple years, and we did. We had to look around for daycares for
Yeah, be
them,
careful, man.
and we went to a few. This one was like this older lady. She was overweight. She couldn't move, so she sat in a chair and was like, she just told
Ooh.
us, "Oh, come in, come in." And you look around, and there's like pet hair everywhere. The
Oh my
place didn't
gosh.
smell that great, and you're just like, wait a minute, what? And then we go to another place, and it's this guy and his son, and I mean, they were like, shaped like pyramids. So
Total
it had that,
pediments, dude.
yeah,
Is yeah.
and you're like, oh, I don't know about these guys.
Why
That's
are there cameras set
odd.
up in the back room, dude? What the fuck are you guys
I mean, we
doing?
went up to the door and we looked in, we saw them, and we just turned around and walked off. We're like, that's a hard no. Like, you just
Dude,
know right away.
yeah, well that's what's crazy is like you have to think, all right, what's your motive? Why do you want to watch my kid? You know? Are you like some sort of professional or are you just a pedophile? Like
And once
it's
we found the one, you can
crazy.
tell the difference. Like, you could
Oh
tell, oh,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
a professional. Like, it's a woman, she's
She's
doing
good
it
at watching
herself.
kids, so she's
Yeah,
like,
like she
okay,
has
I'm gonna
everything
watch
is
kids. All
clean.
right, cool.
She has a
Yeah,
playground, like everything's set up like you would
yeah.
expect a
The
daycare to be set
latest
up.
in daycare technology, whatever the fuck that is.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, okay, this makes sense. But yeah, man, there's some shady shit out there. I know they make
Dude,
money off of it, so not
yeah,
everybody is pedo or whatever, but
yeah.
I
Dude,
mean, that's probably a motivation for a lot of them.
yeah, I've seen like I go into do like some work over there, at the daycare work, and I'm looking around, and like some of the dudes that are there, like you you look like you're on the fucking list, dude. What are you doing here? But yeah,
They
it's
generally do
crazy.
have a look about them, but
They have a
I mean,
fucking look, dude.
I
Easy.
I don't mind judging at all because that's the safest way to go. Is you
Oh
look, you're
no, you
like,
can't.
nah,
Well,
vibe is
number
off.
one, you can't even trust anybody with your kid. But if you're going to, like, you're gonna have to do a little bit of work.
Yeah,
Shit,
and
it's
it and
crazy.
it and honestly, the daycare shouldn't be part of the actual house. Like the one we picked, it was a house, but the whole section that was the daycare was like on one side of the house that was kind of blocked off by a door, so there wasn't like family that was coming in and out, and it wasn't
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
I'm gonna go make dinner and the kids are here. Like
right.
it was an actual daycare that was like okay,
Yeah,
like but I mean
better.
that was still tough, and we only let them. I mean, it wasn't long before we pulled them out of that, but
Nah, yeah. Well, you always have that in the back of your mind. It's like, did I make the right choice? Shit, shit, shit. Yeah,
right.
that's what I'm glad my
And
wife's
not
here.
just for bad intentions. It's just like even people that just aren't paying attention, or like we
Yeah,
had an incident
because it's
where
still on you, basically, right?
right the door got closed in one of the boy's fingers, and
Ooh,
she's like, oh, I think you need to take him to urgent care. So we take him to the doctor, and he's like, dude, you guys need to take this kid to the ER. Like
what the
he needs
fuck?
stitches in this finger. We were like, what? Let me see. And it was like she was the one that saw it. She should have said, "Oh, you need to come pick up this kid. He's got to
No,
go get stitches." Like,
no. What she should have done is been like, "Hey, I am at the ER.
right?
It's okay, but he did have his finger slammed in the door. Not like,
No
oh
shit.
yeah, let me let your kid writhe in pain for a while. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, that's actually what should have happened right there
Like,
for sure.
think like it's your kid, okay? So you've taken like the your kid cloak, put it on yourself, and then you're gonna operate that way. Not like, yeah, I only get paid $50 a day, so I don't give a fuck. It's like, yeah, fuck you, dude. Give me my money back.
Give me my money back. Yeah, we
Dude.
wound up just. I mean, I had the time at the time, so we wound up just watching them because that
Yeah,
was like,
whatever.
fuck, man, this is bullshit already.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean, the
there's
kids shouldn't be. I mean, I don't mind kids getting injured, but when that's like that's a
a
major
major
injury.
thing.
That's
Yeah,
like, wow, you
yeah.
didn't do anything about that. Like, what
Not
if he falls
like,
and hits his head on the concrete? What are you gonna
hey,
do? Just like, oh, your
or like,
kid's
are
been
they
sleeping for
first?
3 hours. I don't
Yeah,
know
he's
what's
kind
wrong
of in
with
a
him.
coma. He ate some plant out back. I don't know what it was, but and like, what the fuck, dude? Uh, I know, right? I'll take care of this problem right away.
Yep, got this, fam.
I know, dude. Call the boys. Oh fuck, dude. Yeah, that's funny. That's just nuts, dude.
What started this conversation?
How do we get on kids? Oh shit. I don't know, dude.
The fuck?
Chat. Put it in the chat.
Oh fuck!
No, that's a
All right,
good
hold on one
one.
second, man. I gotta re up on my beers.
All right. So while we're waiting, the 2017 uh, law in China basically makes it so there's security vulnerabilities inside solar panels and inverters. So, uh, being that they have about 85 to 95% of the market, that's probably something to consider when choosing energy source. Batteries too.
Can slice that little piss break out.
Oh yeah.
Had to pull a Joe Rogan.
Nah,
Hey,
hey,
so
hey.
yeah,
So
go
so
ahead.
oh, so I was gonna say is there's this 2017 law in China that makes it compulsory to put I guess controlling devices or listening devices or whatever in the solar inverters. You ever see that one?
No, so it's a law against putting them.
Oh no, four. Like you have to comply with the national security services in order so they can manipulate and control your solar inverter.
So what are they manipulating and controlling?
Uh, so solar power is like they call it dirty power. So like it's kind of modulates, it goes up and down and stuff like that. So you basically want to make it kind of have to smooth it out, but you can kind of like amplify and de-amplify the power, and basically you like break stuff on your system, especially if it's like a larger system.
So what is the soft? Right, but so is the software malware or?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'm not too sure what they're messing with.
I
There was an
mean,
article
is
about
it
it the other day.
done? Is it done locally, or are they doing something once you
Oh,
hook it up?
remotely, yeah. Because
What if it's not connected to the internet?
it doesn't matter. Because you can
How do they access it then?
over the power line. You can
Who's
transmit
accessing
information.
it?
Oh, I don't know, whoever. But
So
you
a
you can
foreign company can log into a U.S. power company and hack into solar panels.
if they put in if they put Chinese solar panels in their infrastructure. Yeah.
So, but I mean, but that would make it to where they could just shut the power plant down if they had access to the power plant data.
Yeah,
So why don't they just do that then?
they have a couple places.
Where?
I mean,
That doesn't make sense though, because they're like that would be the perfect way to just fuck with America.
oh yeah, straight up, it's
And
a
if
really good
that's a
idea.
law and they had access to every
You know,
single power plant,
yeah,
I don't know, man.
I
That doesn't
know,
make
right?
sense to me.
Have you seen Bloomberg's the big hack?
I have not.
Yeah, it's pretty good, dude. Let's see if we can share it. Share your screen. Let's see. Close
I don't know,
view.
man. I think if a
You don't like it?
foreign I think if a foreign adversary had like China had access to our power grids, they would be doing damage. There would be nothing
Uh,
for them to wait for. They would just be wreaking havoc on the competition. They would be
Yeah,
fucking with everybody's power.
but we do the same thing. So it's kind of like a they mess with us, we mess with them, sort of thing. You ever? Yeah. So here's the cool thing. Like, wait for it. So this, you see the chip right there.
I see it.
So all they had to do is they bribed some sort of process engineer, like 10 grand or something stupid, and he put this little backdoor into to these servers, right? And then all these servers went into all the NSA like agencies we don't even know about. All these servers went in there and made a backdoor for China to, I guess, access everything, right? And so, just knowing that this little tiny, manipulation of the market, then you can go move forward and get China solar.
Now I can see them hacking through the internet, but if your machine isn't connected to the internet,
no, you can still do it. You can still get to it. It's just transmitting. So, well, there's this also this thing called TWAX, which is basically communication over telephone lines. So that's why we don't do copper anymore. Is because copper's compromised. Yeah.
Oh, they put chips in the copper.
Yeah, National Intelligence Law, June 27th. There you go.
Mandatory. How is the copper compromised, Justin? Tell our viewers. They want to know.
Tell our viewers. It's
how the copper is compromised.
Well, I guess in a way, anybody can drive down that highway. So there's nothing, I guess, stopping. Like, there's no rules on that road because it's just a conductor, right? So you can transfer electrons, but you can also transfer information. And then you can also abstract information too, right? So you got this Article 7. It says legally require all Chinese citizens or organizations to support, assist,
I'm speechless.
And cooperate. 2017. Kind of interesting though. And what's even more interesting are the Democrat subsidies for solar, right? Like, why would you, after 2017, you'd be like, holy crap, they're trying to get us. No, let's make this, what's it, Infrastructure Investment Act or whatever they called it, and double down and provide more subsidies to not only buy stuff from Chinese companies, which is like 85 to 95% of the market, right? But that that these guys are giving information to the enemy straight up because it's a law in China where they manufacture these things.
What are they doing exactly? What is it? What information are they gathering off of solar panels?
No, they're not gathering information. They're just attacking the infrastructure.
I mean, but what are they doing? Our infrastructure is solid, seemingly. So what exactly are they attacking?
All right, so discovered, undocumented. Well, also you can collect information too. Like, say if I.
That's what I just asked. You said nothing. What data are they getting though?
Oh, signals.
What signals?
Well, these solar fields are right next to military bases.
So that's what you need to explain to me and our viewers, because that wasn't what you said. So there. Okay. So this is what I'm hearing when you just said that.
Sure.
Is the solar fields are extracting data from the air and the copper that surrounds, that's giving off the signals around them.
Sure, yeah.
Sure, yeah, or close or not close? Or
yeah, it's
because I'm not sure what you're saying.
It's like a collector dish, right?
And it's collecting just signals that are going through the air then.
Sure. Yeah, like in some things are like frequency specific, and so if you're taking, well, you have cell phones too, which collect signals also. So that's why we don't really like those things too much either. But yeah, the solar panel thing is more like fixed, I guess. But
So some solar panels wouldn't gather any data because they're not close to anything that's worth gathering data from.
yeah, but I mean, they might be.
If it's flowing over in that, like, if it's just radiating in that direction, or I guess
Sure.
signals radiate everywhere. It just
Right.
depends on how far away it is,
And then
how
also
strong the signal is.
Yeah, and then from that you could tell location, right?
So you could use them to
travel.
triangulate.
Yeah.
Now this is getting into the weeds, man.
A little bit.
This is fucking crazy what you're saying.
You like it?
I love it.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. But
we should bring it up with Mike, bro. Yeah, we should bring it up with Mike, bro, after we like dive
now
into it.
I've got all kinds of questions. Yeah, we should, because I mean, the implications of having passive listening devices, basically. I mean, they're not listening to audio necessarily, but they are listening to all the shit that's in the air. That's pretty wild. So
yeah,
encryption wise, they get nothing. So they would just have data that they would need, like say a quantum computer sometime in the future to hack.
Yeah, and maybe.
So
it could be.
A lot of stuff is encrypted. So a lot of stuff they just don't even have any use for the information they're getting, is what I first think about.
Maybe.
And military wise, I mean, I don't think there's any unsecure comms happening in the military. That doesn't make
maybe. But like I would say they could tell, because if it's on airwaves and like so say you could say you have encrypted stuff in a cell phone, right? Well, that's going to go on a certain megahertz, no matter if it's encrypted or not, right? So you can tell what cell phone civilian signals, right? So you could tell, okay, radio, okay, we can take that out. We don't really care what's on the radio. Then you could tell what's on the cell phones, right? You could tell different sounds or whatever that you might want to, you think are atmospheric or like from space, whatever that you just want to throw away. And then you're left with, okay, I have encrypted non-commercial stuff, and then that's what you'd focus your quantum computer, your state-sponsored quantum computers on. So it's pretty easy to get to the what you want to look at, data.
Right. But quantum computers don't exist and probably won't for a while.
No, I thought they got some.
I mean, they're really small and they're not really useful in any capacity. So
no, like the state quantum computers are what's out right now, not like commercial.
Yeah, I think that's overhyped, a lot of that stuff. I mean, there's not really, like, quantum computers operate on these ridiculously cold levels and rooms that can't move, and they require like, super like they require that all these things are like within very small like like it's got to be really cold, for example, or it's got to be really still. They can't be other atoms. You remember when they transported that antimatter, and it was like the emptiest thing in the universe, so they had to take everything out of that chamber in order to transport this antimatter atom or whatever.
That's funny.
So the space that was in that tube was like the emptiest that it's anywhere in the universe. But I think a lot of that stuff is overblown and just hyped. Like, it's not.
Oh, like space race kind of stuff. Just
yeah,
to get
there's
people
nothing
to spend
that
money.
like if that existed, it would be used. There would be no like, let's wait to use it. Like, that shit would be being used right now. And I think the Iran war exposed that there isn't any quantum computers being used, because we destroyed the Chinese and the Russian technology. It didn't have any effect on the operations that were going on over there. And even some of this other technology that people are saying exists, like, oh, we use this, we use that, like the heartbeat monitor. I don't think that exists. Like, that wasn't something you heard about, that one? Where the chopper pilots or the fighter pilots were shot down, and they used a heartbeat monitor to discover them miles away. Like
Yeah.
they used the discombobulator in Venezuela, but they didn't use it in Iran. So like it doesn't make sense that they would just like we're not going to use this technology in Iran. Like
Mm.
they would use that. Like they would go above the troops or anybody that was anywhere near military type of equipment, and they would just discombobulate them. Like there would be no reason not to use that. If you have that technology and then you let the world know that you have it in Venezuela, you would immediately turn around and just continue using it. Like it's not classified
Maybe.
anymore.
No, maybe not. Depends on what sort of collection devices they had in Venezuela versus Iran. So say if Iran, you're in Tehran or whatever, right? And they're looking at I guess a certain signal or there's a way to collect a certain signal, then you kind of be giving away the farm, I guess.
Yeah, but I think it looks like, and I could be wrong, that we use conventional warfare in Iran. Like, yeah, we use some SpaceX, or not SpaceX,
Sure.
but Space Force
Right.
technology, right? That's what helped us like identify a lot of the targets and stuff. But I mean, that's things that the U-2 bomber or the U-2 plane and like the stealth bomber. Those are the
Right.
kinds of things that they use. They high altitude imaging, but
Hmm.
now we just have the technology in space that can do it. It sits there all the time, but it seems to me like we use regular conventional uh, tactics in Iran, but for some reason we were able to discombobulate hundreds of soldiers at a time where their weapons didn't work, they didn't work, their technology didn't work, and we just like walked right past them while they were writhing on the ground. Like I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like
That is a little
either it doesn't
interesting on the
exist
story.
or
Yeah.
I think it doesn't exist. Like it's just some other tactic was used
It's
that
probably like, hey, we don't want to
surprise.
kill. Hey, generals, your Ramirez, we don't want to kill all your soldiers, but we'll just say we discombobulated you. How about that? And then you guys just let us walk by. Huh?
Right. I
All
think
right.
that
You
might
know?
have been, yeah, that might have been a twofold thing where the military was so surprised of the campaign that to save face, they said that there was some kind of weapon that discombobulated them. And then
Yeah.
we ran with it and was like, oh, we got this weapon that discombobulates you. But then
Yeah.
we turn around and do this campaign where we don't use it ever again.
Yeah, we have like these gas prices up the wazoo
That doesn't make
for
sense,
six
man.
months. Dude, you
Like I
discombobulate the
understand that.
Ayatollah, you'd be all over it. You'd be like, all right, fuck it. You want the keys, Darian? Here you go.
Right.
Fuck it.
You would use that. Like you would just use that technology and force them to hand over the fucking keys. Like you wouldn't be like, oh well, we have this weapon
That's
that is non-destructive. It doesn't kill you, but it wipes out all your technology. It wipes you out.
well, they don't
But
have much technology anyway in
right,
Iran.
but they have enough technology where they have drones. So
Sure,
like, why wouldn't
they're.
you use that to
Mm,
discombobulate the drones, the radar equipment,
I
and then you could
it,
come in and just
it could be too
take
like
the country over?
depends on I guess how shitty like say like you're like South America's not really going at war anymore. Like Iran's always postured for war, right? So Iran might be thinking
So you'd
like,
want to use it
okay,
more over there, right?
well, yeah, sure. No, but I mean, Iran might have something that's like, I, you know, an electromagnetic field proofed my whatever, and this is so they might be more protected against some of these technologies. And this is just like entry level, like tomfuckery that we were able to just press a button and mess up their whole thing.
I
But
feel you on that, but like after the
it could
initial
be,
couple of weeks of destroying all that technology with conventional warfare, you would think
yeah,
that we can now go in and use that. And it's
yeah,
not been debuted. Like we're
but
still triangulating positions based on where we saw a rocket come from, how fast it was going, and then I mean that's just math, right? Like that's just general math. Like that's
well,
not
you
hard to do.
should be able to see it pretty fast because a rocket has a certain heat signature, right? So
Right,
you
so
should
you
be able
have
to see
all
it
these
right
eyes
away.
on the ground from space, like boom, within 3 minutes you can
Yeah.
triangulate where it comes from.
I would even think like you'd be able to figure it out before then, based off of like AI of like, okay,
Oh, for sure, for sure.
where would I put a rocket, and then and then you just kind of keep eyes on that, all those 75,000 locations, and then you see movement or fuel or, I mean, you'd think you'd figure it out pretty
Well, I
easy
think we
if.
have, and that's what I'm saying is because of those encounters, it does seem like we're just using conventional warfare and nothing special that supposedly we have all these weapons that
It's weird though. It's a weird country because it's super mountainous. So it's like they got bunkers and everything everywhere. So it is kind of like whack a mole. Really, you can't just go in. Like, I think the why the discombobulator thing worked is because we could just go in, press a button, get our guy, and go out. We weren't there to like fight, really. You know,
well, I mean, okay, I'll
like
give
if
you
we're
that. But
if
then we go in to rescue these pilots that have been down and there's hundreds of soldiers coming after them. And
sure,
we get them in the nick of time, right? Why not use the discombobulator there? Why not go in, discombobulate those hundreds of soldiers, and then just waltz in, pick up your guy, and then waltz right out because none of their technology works. They don't work. Their guns won't shoot.
yeah,
They're bleeding out of their ears and nose.
I know. I like the idea though.
Right. I mean, but we didn't do that. Like,
Well, it was interesting what they said they did anyways. They'd like say like they were gonna pick the guy up over here, and they'd have a helicopter over here, but then the guy was over here.
I mean, that doesn't mean that there wasn't some cool shit going on. I mean, our
Yeah,
military is extremely advanced, and we do have a lot
or
of like art of war type of
yeah,
situations that we get into. So,
or it could have been like, hey, let's test out the heart thing. Yeah, like, yeah, we already tested out discombobulator. Let's try heart thing. Don't worry about these guys. I'll take care of them. I got.
could
What I
be.
mean?
I mean, we don't know the whole
Maybe a
story.
bit of
I mean, we only
cockiness. Who knows? But like, because it might not be like a readily accessible weapon per se.
it was on the top. It was in the front of Blackhawks.
Oh,
Yeah,
well then
it was just on the
shoot.
front end of the Blackhawks.
Oh shoot.
So I mean, and they took
Mm,
helicopters in. Like they built helicopters that they took apart to stuff in the C-130s.
yeah.
They yanked them out, reattached the rotors and everything, rebuilt them in 10 minutes. Like, why
Oh,
didn't
those
they
are
have disc?
the yeah. Those are like the Kiowas or the small ones that like that. That
I
they're
mean, I
like
get
dude.
that the mission was, I mean, it was a crazy mission. Like, it was hours. Like, I think it was 8 hours flying
Oh
in, 8 hours flying out. Like,
yeah.
I get that, but
Okay. The other thing too. I guess with that specific mission is that it was a little risky. They don't want to give the technology away. So like how they blew up half their stuff. That's
right.
probably why they wanted to do that one more conventional, just in case like there was any back engineering or some
Well, I'm
like
sure the
explosive
Blackhawks
didn't go
have,
off or
I'm sure all the planes and technology has
the self destruct thing.
the self-destructing
Yeah, but
capabilities.
just
So,
I think there's like I
well,
think
actually, maybe
like
not because we didn't do that in Afghanistan.
no, that was
If
because
we,
we had the Biden involved.
so he just didn't
Yeah,
push the button, or
yeah, pretty much. It's like you're anti-American, right? All right, cool. Here's all this American technology.
maybe we don't have self-destructing technology in all our equipment.
No, we do. Like you can destroy most of that, but I think with that it's like even still if you like self destruct that, like there's still potential for uh reverse engineering certain things. So like most of that technology, like China's already pretty much stolen from us anyway, or whatever. And so I think as long as you blow it up, you kind of take like most of the intellectual property off of it. But like if you have a new gadget, then that might give them a hint of how to build that technology. So they might have thought like, okay, well, let's just not even bring it. We'll just take care of it normal.
I can give you that,
So
man.
it could have been that way.
I had read something a while back that was saying that like no information can be destroyed. Like you can't destroy or create. What is it? I forget. Well, the idea is that if you burn a piece of paper with some writing on it, it doesn't actually go away.
Yeah.
And you could technically recreate that entire thing, the paper
sure.
and the words on it, through the
Right.
ashes, which is crazy to
Wow.
think about.
Yeah.
But what is it? Information cannot be created or destroyed.
Energy.
Energy
Well,
cannot be created
and
or
then
destroyed.
yeah, but it can be changed. So like, yeah, I guess information might be the same way.
Right. So you can.
I think you might be onto something there. Like it's like a law of information.
And the only thing that we know of in the universe that can actually eat up information
Black hole.
and you can't get it back, is the black hole.
Well, the information might be contained within the black hole. So
right.
you
Well,
have to go in
that's
there to get it.
right. You just right. So there's no real way to get it out. Whereas if you burn a piece of paper in the fire, technically you could get that information back.
Yeah, as long as you didn't crumple it up or whatever.
I mean, there's a lot of things that involve,
Well,
like it goes up in the air and disperses. So you'd have to figure out where all the pieces are.
Well,
but
in Pompeii too, all those charred scrolls, they're able to read them with the, I think, X-ray something.
There you go.
It's pretty sick, dude. Like they're reading all these ancient Roman scrolls by like Cicero and whatever. They're like, "Whoa, we thought we lost this scroll." No.
Do they open them up, or do they just go through the scroll and look at them?
They just go through in a way that it's like, I guess, so like say you go around once and the strongest signal, you're like, okay, we'll delete that from the next go around. Strongest, and then second strong. You see what I mean? Where you can kind of unravel it, and then
that is sick.
They use Fourier transforms in doing that. It's pretty cool. It's like a mathematical signal processing thing, man.
That's pretty sick, man. So every time you go around, you just delete one layer, then 2 layers, then 3 layers, then 4 until you get to the bottom.
I think in a way, like that's
is that with an electron microscope, or is that different?
No, X-rays. So
that's just with general X-rays.
Yeah, because the ink has iron in it, right? So you're able to, I guess, reflect off of that. So
that's pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool.
And then the scroll's just sitting there, just still wrapped up. You're like,
I know you don't have to mess with it. After that point, it's just a chunk of charcoal, really, and somehow to get information out of it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, the technology that I don't even know if it's technology. It's just the way our universe is set up, that you can manipulate things in a certain way and gather information just based on like math, basically.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's I heard one time that if you can come up with a mathematical formula for a theory, and even though it's not possible to do today, at some point in time it will be possible to do. So like going back in time, for example, like it's mathematically possible. So that's a possibility that can happen. Like you can actually go back in time. It's not something that we can do today, but if you can't find the math to prove it, then it's not something that's possible. And our entire universe is just based on math, essentially.
The cool thing about math is it doesn't have a projection onto this universe per se. Like things that are impossible in our universe are possible still in math, and so math can project. It's like the trans-universal. So you could project your so math is the same in this universe, the next, and all universes, essentially.
But does that? I mean, can it still be possible in our universe at some point in time, like with enough technology? Or is it just me? Because
maybe.
Like the math that we came up with today, if they came up with it 3,000 years ago, it took 3,000 years to be able to do that.
Oh, well, I guess here's the way it works a little bit. It's like, so math is like the purest form of science, right? and then you could project math onto, like, say, chemistry or biology or physics, and then that's kind of like what we observe in this universe from math. It's not necessarily saying that, like, okay, so because it's a law in physics, and say physics say it says you can't travel back in time, whatever. That doesn't mean that in another universe it's not possible, or that maybe we're not thinking of something in physics right now. Like, say there's 22 dimensions, and we're only thinking about three right now, right? Three or four, or whatever. But if you start to think, okay, like, how do I route myself? Maybe time travel is impossible if you're in these four dimensions, but say if I jump into like a sixth or seventh dimension, can I move in time? You see what I mean?
Right.
Like if you've like taken an object that is all of time and space, so like, you know, your soul or something like that, it's a like a higher order dimensional object, because it has like everything that's in you, everything you've done, everything that you've done in your whole life, in all of space is right there in that object, right? And so if you start to think in that, but if you're like constrained to thinking in, you know, three or four dimensions of, like, you know, your now and like what you can do and you move and you're moving, like your observables are going to be three and four dimensions, so your laws are going to be in three or four dimensions. So not a lot of people are thinking in that higher order. Probably in those sciences, they're thinking like, okay, well, applied science, like, what can I apply to my environment, right? And that's an okay thing to do. But like, if you're trying to like get to those extra things, like, you know, like how does a flying saucer move, or time travel, or all these like crazy things, then you're gonna have to kind of step it up in a way.
Speaking of UFOs, I wonder, I don't know if they're, like, I've never really heard of anything, but does math prove the existence of aliens, or has there been any theories that aliens could exist through the use of maths?
No, like there's this guy Descartes, and he was tasked by the Catholic Church to prove if God exists, and mathematically, it's like you have to. It's basically you have to have faith, right? And so if you don't have faith, then it doesn't turn out. So it kind of he got to the point where everybody else is at. It's like, okay, you either have faith or you don't. So
So is there any maths for faith?
I mean, that's what Descartes was trying to do. He's the guy that
What?
said, I think for therefore I am. And so he got funded to prove God exists. He's like, all right, well, I'll try, you know. So he's doing the thing. He's like, basically, he came to the point mathematically. It's like, well, you get to this point where there's this leap of faith, and that's how you can prove it. So basically, it's faith dependent, and that's kind of where everybody else is too, right? So, you have
So,
your faith,
but that
and then
doesn't mean that it's real, right? Like, faith is just a kind of an abstract kind of phenomenon, or is that
I don't
something more
know.
concrete that it could exist because you have the faith?
Yeah, so I guess it'd be different for people based on where they're at, right? So, like, faith for somebody who's like kind of like, I don't know, seen God kind of in a way, or like realized God, then you're kind of like, okay, it's not really faith anymore. It's like kind of, you know, right? But same thing with math. Like, you know, you have two apples in your hand. Okay, well, there's two apples. I don't need math to prove it, right? Or I don't need to prove it. Even if somebody says there's not two apples, you're like, whatever, dude. There's two apples, right? But I guess what he's saying is like, when you get to that point where, like, you know something is real, that's where you've had that like realization of like, okay, faith is solid. But like then there's this journey to get to there, that I think everybody kind of has to go through.
But can't you mathematically prove that you have two items and not three and not one?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Right. So that's not a matter of experience. You can actually like prove that mathematically that there's two objects here rather than three or just one. So I don't know if the theorems and postulates go outside of geometry, but like, I mean, there are like what was it? What was that course? What's the math course that deals with like the and or?
Game theory?
No.
Oh, forget. But the other thing too, it's like there's a really cool one. I like that kind of shows you.
Discrete math.
Oh, okay.
So like discrete math has like the and or, not and or. So like the things we use to make computers, right? Like that's
Sure.
how transistors work.
Logic, yeah.
Logic, right? It's logic. So like when you break having two items down into the logical components, you now have mathematical proof that you have just two objects. It's not reliant on you just knowing because hey, I have two objects. So I mean, like math breaks off into a lot of different, like, I don't know if, I mean, they're all just math, but it's like
Yeah,
algebra, geometry, physics. They all have kind of different ways of going about proving that something is happening or not happening, or it can happen or whatever, right? So you, depending on what you're doing, and so discrete math would be, it's still math, but it's like logic math where you can prove that, yes, I have two objects right here.
sure.
So it's not reliant at all on experience. Whereas
Well,
God can't be proved, and it is reliant on, like you said, faith.
yeah,
So there's no way, like even in
but
discrete math or any other types of the disciplines, to be like, okay, I can prove that God exists.
I think you can.
Not
It's
even in
just you'd have
philosophy, I
to
don't think.
be like super observable, and then somebody else can always say, "Hey, well, you messed up." That's kind of where Descartes kind of, I think, fell. But so one of the things, there's this book called Nonlinear Dynamics and Chaos by Strogatz, and it kind of like shows, I guess, the complexity of the law, like basically the universe. I just call it the law, where
Mm.
everything is mathematically defined. And so once you get into chaos, which is kind of like, I guess, the realm where I guess God would exist, particularly, just because there's so many like variations that perturbate here and there, but it's a defined order, right? So once you get into chaos, there's a function called the Lorentz function, and the solutions to that function are like so close to each other that a small perturbation, like a small like nudge, will kick a solution onto the next track, and then we'll go to another location. But like, I think
Oh,
the
that's fucking wild.
dude, it's so wild. But like,
Holy
I think
shit.
I think that class, and then like the chaotic water wheel, or the firefly problem, or Lotka Voltaire, which is like the predator prey model. It's kind of like you see all these natural things that are mathematically defined in, like, I don't know if it was Descartes' feeling too, but like for me, it's like I have this like order in this like kind of divinity in this definition, right? Where it's like this is God, right? This is a defined system where it's not based off of like crazy things like this entropic, like the math itself proves God, because it's this order that is God, and so it's kind of like but that's like that faith thing, right? Where it's like, oh well, it's just math. Oh, okay, well that's your thing. But like if it's math plus like the reason why is math there, well then you have to answer that question. Why is math there? But like even when you go back into the book of Genesis, where it talks about the creation of the universe, you go like in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was void and without form, and darkness hovered over the face of the deep. And then God said, "Let there be light," and there be light. Then you're like thinking like, okay, so you have this void, right? And like the where I got to that was like the thought of God, um, like made the fabric of the universe per se, right? But then the word of God spoke it into existence, and I'm like, it's fucking wild, dude, right? But then you look back to like, oh, okay, well, what's the conventional theory? The Big Bang. Well, what's that? Well, it just happened like that. Okay, well, what's the difference? So you're getting to this point where there's like this dichotomy of choice, right? There's one that says, okay, there's God, and like it just happened like that, and then there's one that says, well, there's no God and it happened like that. Okay, so then it's just an either or, right? So that's kind of where it's at, is like it doesn't really matter to God if you acknowledge He exists or not, but it's like it's just a personal choice, and that's kind of like that free will, right? And so I think that's what's one of the cool things that I found through like studying science more and more, is like you can just understand like the beauty of the fabric of creation more and more.
I can get behind that for sure, but when I think about God and I think about like the theory that I was saying, where if you come up with this theory, and then that's how it's been done all throughout history, is
Sure.
there's this theory, and then they search for the maths for it, right?
Yeah.
Then they prove it
Or
mathematically,
yeah.
and then they go to the experiment stage, right? So like a
Uh,
good famous one is like there was a
maybe.
theory that like gravity bends light and space time, and then they came up with the mathematics for it,
Yeah.
and the mathematics paved the way to look at it through a solar eclipse, and sure enough they proved it. So it
Oh
moves
yeah,
from
that's a good
theory
way
to
to do it.
maths to experiment, right? And then so the way I look at God is like, okay, you have this idea, and I'm talking about the God that we all know,
Yeah.
that we grew up with, right? Like
Yeah.
God created the heavens and the earth in 7 days,
Alpha,
and then
Omega,
Adam and Eve and all this other stuff, right? So, but you have this thing that has nothing to do, it's not connected in any way to science, it's not connected in any way to math, and if anything, it only relates philosophically to life.
maybe.
And
But
I can
like
see how philosophy can tie into all this too, right? But
well,
what I'm saying is
yeah, I'll
that,
get that later.
like, if you're gonna say that there was this God that was like forever was, and like you just can't fathom, like there was nothing and he just existed, and then suddenly he was like, okay, let's create this,
Yeah.
like, and then now we have all this stuff that we see and experience, and like we look back, and we can look back in time, we can look at the things that we see, we can recreate the circumstances that happened in a car wreck, and that's just at a police investigative level.
Mm-hmm.
And then and you can just get deeper and deeper and deeper into that, right? And you get into the sciences, and it gets even more complex. And so there's no reason for us not to believe that science doesn't have some kind of answer for the past.
Oh, sure. Well,
And then there's also no reason to believe that we can't extract things into the future. But then if you bring in like this completely arbitrary idea of like a higher being, like there's no place really in anything in our world for that. There's no place, maybe philosophy, right? But that's just a way of trying to like explain something, how things work. But then you have the maths that come in and say, okay, well, this and this and this. But if you say that the maths prove that there's a God, or points to a God, I won't say
yeah.
prove, but like there's this thing that doesn't make any sense, and not in any way that we've been taught. Like, okay, there's a heaven and a hell. Like that part doesn't make sense, right? So either there's a God and it's just like this, we can just call it God, right? Like
Yeah.
whatever you want to say, but it doesn't have anything to do with anything we've made up. Like you have to do, there's 10 commandments, you have to do, that's philosophy anyways.
Yeah.
But like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that to say that God created everything is kind of just is just an easy way to get out of saying that we have no fucking clue of what's going on.
I think that's true though. I think generally that's true. Like we got all the way up to like 1900 something, and didn't even understand quantum mechanics like throughout our history, right?
Right.
So I think it's I think in general we don't know what's going on. I mean, how many thousands of years do we have like monarchy or tribalism, right? Like we really don't know what we're doing
Or
particularly.
even just myth to explain
Yeah,
things.
well, and that's what I kind of like too is like the. I mean, I guess Rogan pointed to it with like the flood stuff. Is like you have all these different cultures in their flood theory myths and stuff like that. So I kind of like the bit of that, but I mean, besides that, it's not the. I guess the idea is like when you create something versus like when it's chaotic, right? So like I just made some cookies, right? Well, I didn't just like let chance put all the ingredients together, right? And so you see what I mean? Like
Right.
there's like a way that things work, and to say that yes, scientifically, mathematically, uh, physically, this is the way things naturally develop into forming like I don't know, like a protein or a this or a that, right? Yes, but also like well, there's I'll get to the Greeks in a second, but there's a bit of a pointing to like the like all right, maybe I'll get to the Greeks now. So they have this thing
Yes.
called chaos, right? I think that's the one they called it. But basically, chaos for them was this perfect form, like the planets were perfect spheres, right? And the idea of that was that everything moved toward order because that's just the thing you do. As like an atom, you decide you have a nucleus and you have an electron swinging around like whatever, they didn't know about those then, but Democritus got close, but
Democritus
uh
got close. Yeah.
but like you see what I'm saying, like they had this idea of like there's this like gravitational field of what you're supposed to do as matter, right? Because there's this law that's set onto the universe, like even when you have the fabric of space-time, right? Like light bends. Okay, well, light is a particle and it's supposed to go that way. Why is it bending? Well, because there's a force. Well, why is there a force? Now you keep going with these whys all the way back to it. Then you get to a stopping point, right? And okay, well, what are you going to do it there? Why did that thing get created? Or why is that put in motion? And to that point, then that's where you get to creation, right? Where you either go to, okay, snap your fingers, it just happened because, or snap your fingers, got thought it into existence. But then, like that's all aside. But then you get to this point where you actually have your life experience, and then you have your experience with God or lack of either way, and then that's kind of what kind of drives people on the path of following God or maybe not. So maybe I don't know. That's kind of how I was seeing it. But either way, you get to this point where you're either saying it started out of nothing or you're saying God started it. It's kind of, and that's where Descartes got in a way with his math. It's like, hey, I can get you to the point where you have to take this leap of faith, and then I can prove it mathematically. I was like,
Well,
okay, I can get to the point where creation started, and then you decide who did it. You know?
I mean, I just think that history proves that the way that we should go about things is to walk as far as we can see,
Mm-hmm.
and then when we get there, we'll be able to see a little bit further. That's a Zig
Well,
Ziglar quote. But
yeah,
if you like you said, we didn't know about quantum mechanics at some point,
yeah.
right? And we walked as far as we could. And then once we got to that point, then we could see a little bit further.
Well, dude,
And
people were
rather than
stopping
make
us
up all
too.
these ideas, like I think the myths and stuff, fine, they're cool
Well,
actually
no,
in
it's not.
retrospect.
It's
But
not even that. It's like I think that the different way to think about it is it's a better understanding of God rather than it's like, oh no, like all this stuff could prove that there is no God, right?
right,
Because
but the thing is though,
you can't
like
do that either,
if
right?
you extract that to the mythology,
Sure.
like we have kind of gotten rid of all mythology. We know that there's no Poseidon in the ocean, right?
Ah,
So how
fuck.
much did that actually serve the general public to believe that okay, you had to sacrifice people or you had to do this or these weird
Sure.
things, where now these things don't even matter to us because we can go out with our depth finders and our boats and our GPS systems, and none of that matters anymore. We don't
Right.
have to appeal to the mythos, right? But
Well,
so
I
how
mean
much did that
that's the
serve
other thing
us?
too,
And
right? There's a lot of money involved in
no,
making
I see that.
Poseidon, right?
No, I mean I see that, but like all that aside,
Sure.
like if you're
Yeah.
looking at it from just like, hey man, what's going on? Like there's no there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, we just don't know yet,
No,
rather
yeah,
than,
for
oh
sure.
well, there's a God, so we just should believe in God. Because, well, no, I mean, to me, God
Oh,
stifles my lifestyle, right? So like, I mean, the church implements certain ideas, like Catholic Church, the Mormon Church, the Christian Church. There's all these different churches. They have different things that you can and can't do. So, and then like over time,
yeah.
they start to change and morph, and then
You know
allow
what's
certain things like gay
yeah.
marriage. Like,
Oh,
so
dude, that
what
was
did
so
that serve
weird,
the general
dude.
public to have all these weird rules
And then
when we
you're
could
just
have just
gonna
said, hey,
change them.
we don't know. Let's just
Yeah.
keep going until we figure it out.
No, yeah. So yeah, the weird thing about that is, in the again, it gets more into the Plato's forms and stuff like that. Is like so you read the Bible from like a I guess a Plato perspective. It reads so much differently than like you show up to church and some guy's just yakking and you're like, that's not what it says at all, dude. You know what I mean? And so I think that's kind
Yes,
of
like,
what a lot of people run into, and that does lead to a lack of like faith in God because it's like, oh well, you got the cross on your door, you must be Christian. And it's like no, like these guys are phoning in. There's this really good verse in the Bible that I really like. It kind of goes to I guess everything, even this conversation, right? Is like, um, uh, and thou shalt not tell every man his brother, know the Lord, for all shall know me from the least to the greatest. It's like, hey, you're not going to tell somebody how they're supposed to understand God because everybody knows what God is. Like, you know, you're looking up at the stars and you're like, what the, or whatever your thing is, right? Where you're just like, dude, you're like, your peace, right? Like that's what. And so when somebody goes and says, "Oh, well, you have to come to church every Sunday," like, no, like why would you go to church every Sunday if you're already like one with God? What if your thing in going to church is hiking out in the mountains and just being one with like, finding your Zen somewhere, right? And I think that's kind of like that communion with God is like what you're looking for, and not like somebody just saying you have to come and put money in their plate so they can go buy rolls. And like
right.
you're really like you're misleading a lot of people, and they're gonna get jaded, and because they see you flying in a jet and cheating on your wife, they're like, "What the fuck, dude?" Like, I'm broke and I can't even afford gas in my tank. So
And
like you have these
I'm
like,
still paying my tithes.
dude, I know, right? So like, so that's where you have to really find that like, I guess, I mean, and that's the other thing too. It's like everybody's the church, right? So if like you have something that you can do to support whatever ministry you're doing, like you're helping out your in-laws or you're helping out your cousins or whatever you're doing, and like that's your thing, and you're forwarding your ministry that way. You don't have to give to somebody's coffers, as it were, because I think that's like the worst thing that happened to the church was the governmentalization, that secularization of the church, where like you even saw the apostles where they're like fighting over who's going to be in charge. You're like, shut the fuck up, dude. What are you doing? Like
Right,
I
right.
spent all these years, I'm getting crucified, and you're fighting over who's gonna, like, how the Roman soldiers are fighting over the robes. It's like these guys are like on his way into Jerusalem. They're fighting over who's gonna be in charge. It's like, no, that's not what this is about. And so like you're like when they did that to the church, and when they took it from an apostolic church into this whole like Catholic whatever hierarchy government, you do what I tell you to do thing, like that's where they really just like shifted everything and messed everything up. So like that's
And
where
they've
you
stuck for thousands of years
well, and
now.
that's where you lose God, because you like when you're reading like say like Old Testament or New Testament, like you're listening to Christ, and you're like, okay, Christ says this. Okay, then you go read an Old Testament, and you're like, wait, God didn't say that. That was a dude that said that. Like you're like reading through, and then you can filter and interpret what this Old Testament stuff is saying, and then you're like, yeah, I think that guy just didn't like these guys, and that's why they said, kill them all or whatever that was. So I think that's kind of like an interesting way to read the Bible's filtered through the New Testament, because it kind of gives you that little bit more of I guess perspective. Because like, okay, God comes down, and he's like, okay, this is what I actually wanted to tell you, not what that dude said over there. And so then you're like, oh yeah, that dude was just tripping. So that's what I like about filtering the old, because in the Old Testament you can see like prophecy, you can see like different things, right? But but then you can see like, okay, this dude just didn't want to, or just made up a rule or whatever it was, so you can kind of see that too once you've, I guess, absorbed that like form of what Christ was, and like understand it. And then you can project that onto the Old Testament and kind of get a little bit more out of it too, because the Old Testament main thing it does is just prophesy, Christ coming, and kind of gives you that like idea of sacrifice, like Abraham being putting his son on the altar to sacrifice him. Like as a father, you're like, holy crap, dude, that's like next level. Like to have that amount of faith, like that's crazy. Or like to be like Christ, where like you're touching a leper, you're like, would I do that? I mean, there's these places where you say, okay, I fall short. There's nothing I can do. I'm not that guy. I'm not Christ. Maybe I'm not going to put my son on an altar to sacrifice him, or I'm not going to touch a leper or whatever it is, right? And that's okay, but that's why we have salvation. It's because there's that place where you fall short. But to have this hierarchy and, okay, this is what the Bible says, is like the Hebrews tells you that nobody's there to tell you what the Bible says. Like God speaks to you directly, and that's kind of one of the main things we've lost over this last couple thousand years, I think.
Yeah, last couple thousand years for sure.
That's crazy, dude. Yeah, a lot of people died too, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was solid, dude.
That was solid.
Dude, I was on my pulpit.
Yes.
No, I think it was good though. I think it was straight.
It was good. It was great. Should we play the intro?
Yeah, let's play the intro. Hell yeah.
Welcome to the Rivers Die podcast.
Did you stop drinking already?
No, I'm still going. I still got 3 more.
Oh, I see it. Oh yeah.
Barrio Blonde.
Shit, man. Should we end it there?
Yeah, we can end it there. That was pretty good. Mike always makes us end it to like $1.30, man.
I know. He's got to go to bed.
I know, old man.
I mean, I don't mind starting earlier, but you kind of have work.
Yeah.
So.
No, dude, they finally gave me back overtime, so I'm excited about that. Pay for my vacation.
So you're gonna be working late next week too?
Well, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I could, if we need to make it at 5, I can make it at 5 too. So it's all good.
Yeah, but I don't think Mike can. No, 5. You're 5. No, your time, regular time. Yeah.
I'll move it back. I'll move it back for Thursday. It's only cost me $50, so I'm cheap.
Yeah. Pretty soon that won't matter.
Dude, I hope so, man. We make it big. But
hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah, cheers. You
Cheers.
play the outro?
I don't have the outro.
Fuck it. Dun, dun,
fuck it.
Dun, 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 dun.
You play the intro again. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
This podcast was brought to you by 257 Productions.